We are now joined by our correspondent, Joshua Imarayi, who is live at the venue of this convergence. Joshua, this is a very important conversation, especially whistleblower protections and civil rights. What more have we learned from this engagement? Can you give us an idea of what the deliberations have been like?
Well, good afternoon to you, blessings. You can imagine the shocks on the faces of Nigerians when they learned about the PFIPC scandal, how a purported government agency was granted billions of naira for something that does not exist. So this is what civil society organizations, labor union, as well as journalists are actually advocating for. And here in Abuja, we are seeing a convergence of like-minded individuals who are raising the alarm, saying that we need stronger laws for whistleblowers so as to ensure that activities like this does not go unnoticed. We have somebody from the ITUC Africa in the person of Hakato Odige. Please come forward, sir, who will give us what he thinks. So now look at Africa, look at Nigeria. Do you think we have stronger laws to encourage whistleblowers? What do you think?
First is that yes, the laws are not so inadequate. They are not adequate, so to say. They are not adequate, and they are not widely spread. You don't have laws that protect whistleblowers across the continent fairly widely. You have bits and pieces of it, mostly in Anglophone Africa. The Francophone and the Lusophone are still to catch up with that, but largely it's not the absence really of whistleblowing laws. It's the absence or the general weakness of the practice and the culture of the rule of law.
Now, let's talk about this convergence. What has formed the need for this convergence, and what are we seeing that we emanate from this convergence?
Okay, well, for this meeting, the important thing is that people need to really talk and put these ideas that can work on the table. And we are seeing that. And then on the continent, there is also a need for a convergence. We need to come together. We need to come close. First, the question is, why are we even concerned about kleptocracy and corruption and all of that? It is because it has remained, unfortunately, an endemic problem on our continent. Of course, we know that it's not exclusive to Africa, but the fact that we are where we are, I mean, Africa has remained the global development dilemma, is partly the analysis that shows that corruption still continues to find comfort on our continent, and we need to make our continent uncomfortable for corruption. And in doing this, we need laws, we need practices, we need vigilance of the people, we need citizens' activism and participation in the process. I go back to the root cause of the problem, and I hear you talk about the case of a so-called fake agency. As far as I'm concerned, of course, I work for African workers on the continent. What I see that is a problem, this agency is not fake. It's true what the layers of the things that have passed through it does not show what is fake. And this is the absence of the rule of law. How do you investigate? Is it the guy you are investigating or the people who have enabled the process? First, let's look at it. This same guy should have been considered first a whistleblower because he complained about sharing formula. And he has complained about a certain person as asking more, only from that quarter to come out and say, no, this agency in the first place does not even exist. That is their defense against this allegation of whistleblowing. What do you expect in a society where the rule of law holds sway is that the parties, both parties should be investigated. You can't use government machinery to be defending one guy. You use the same government machinery to be defaming the allegedly whistleblowers. Public opinion will say, if the sharing formula was good, we will not hear it. But this is, again, is also part of the whistleblowing practice, that sometimes discontent from actors will say, let the bubble burst. But when there are rules for guiding, governing the arrangement, these things will work. But our problem is the fact that the rule of law is continuously is made mockery of. This is what we see.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So you just heard from Mr. Akato Digi of the ITUC Africa, and he's saying that the rule of law must be strengthened, mechanisms to check if we have adequate protection of whistleblowers, just in the case of Mr. DME of the alleged PFIPC, who was actually arrested and the case currently in court. So this is the summation of this conversation, and Nigeria as well as Africa must unite to fight corruption.
All right, Joshua Imarayi there with the update on combating corruption and the conversations being had.